London now and speak to Tower Hamlet's Cllr Oliur Rahman, who has responsibility for children's services in the borough, which is highlighted as one of the areas badly affected by children growing up in poverty. A very good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Sophie.
I imagine, given your portfolio, you're not surprised to learn of these statistics.
Well, we recognise we have a significant challenge when it comes to child poverty in Tower Hamlets. But I think it's important to also look at some of the things that we are doing to mitigate the problem. But also in your report that you mentioned that it's not going to get any easier for working families or families out of work. It will significantly probably contribute into child poverty. But some of the things we are doing, we have Mayor's Education Awards recognising young people education. EMA, which was abolished by the government, we have reinstated in Tower Hamlets. Our education is improving year on year. 62% of our residents are in employment. That's probably the highest in decades. So we are doing enormous difference of issues to mitigate the child poverty, but we recognise we have a significant challenge in front of us, and the government's welfare reform certainly going to have a significant effect. We're also giving free school meals to all the primary schools. Students, almost 4,000 students will be getting free school meals in Tower Hamlets, but the Children's Society believes that half of the family on poverty are not getting the free school meals.
Yeah, you list all the things you're doing. I just wonder how confident you are that they're working, given that 42% of children growing up in Tower Hamlets is growing up in poverty, compared with only, say, 6% in somewhere like Wimbledon. I mean, we're not even looking at a regional difference here. Why the huge disparity? Well,
as I said, Sophie, we recognise we have a significant problems when it comes to child poverty. We're taking these steps to reduce the child poverty, and we are reducing. It is working, and this is why, if you take everything into context, the Tower Hamlets faced and being poorest borough, poverty and all of that. But our young people are achieving year on year. Our schools and education system being praised by Ofsted and the government ministers. For our four schools are top 100s in the country. So measures we are taking, the measures the current mayor of Tower Hamlets is taking, is working, and it's been recognised. We're probably only borough in the country that not cutting any frontline services, children's social care, children's centres, youth clubs. We, in fact, are probably only borough investing almost £10 million in our youth services. We're building more housing than any other local authorities in the country.
So how do you think the figures will look a year from now? 42% of the children in your borough growing up in poverty. How much will you achieve by this time next year, in 5 years' time, do you think?
I'm optimistic that the figure will reduce from what it is currently now. But as I said to you, the government welfare reform is not going to help. And we have heard on your own report from various charities and organisations who works with vulnerable families and communities that that's going to have a significant effect. By saying that, we as a local authority are doing all we can to support our vulnerable families and our young people to make sure that no child grows up in poverty, to give them the best start in life so that they can go and fulfil their aspiration in life.
Solomon, the chair of the End Child Poverty campaign, says he's going to be writing to local authorities, calling on them to prioritise low-income families. I mean, what he's saying would indicate you do have some flexibility, and not all the responsibility for this lies at central government's door. What else will you be doing, and how much flexibility do you have to correct the situation?
Well, the government want us to find almost £130 million of saving, and we haven't touched any of our frontline services the way it's going to affect vulnerable families. But if the government keep pushing local authorities to find even more saving, then I'm not sure how much we can protect those services that we're currently providing. And we are looking and exploring to find monies so that we can support our families in low income. And we have various opportunities for the residents of the borough, whether it's apprenticeship, graduates program, so we have members of the families in the household working and earning, but also at the same time educating the parents to make sure that they get into employment and support them as much as we possibly can.
Okay, Councillor Oliur Rahman, we must leave it there. Thank you very much.